Kryptonana, exit liquidity, hodl-nana, dump it all. Kryptonana, exit liquidity, hodl-nana, dump it all.
Kryptonana, exit liquidity,
dump it all.
hodl-nana, dump it all. From the day we arrive on the blockchain and blinking step into the trade, there's more to lose than can ever be won, more to dump than can ever be saved. Influencers, tweets, and the noobs all follow, buying high, selling low, what a game. But the boomers know, and Sailor, he knows that the dump is coming. It's all the same. It's the circle of exit liquidity, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and FOMO, till we find our place on the path unwinding in the circle of exit liquidity. Some of us fall by the wayside, and some of us soar to the stars, but the influencers always win with the Lambos and their cars. So beware of the pump and the inevitable dump, for the cycle continues and the news get wrecked. Kryptonana, exit liquidity, hodl-nana, dump it all. Kryptonana, exit liquidity, hodl-nana, dump it all. Kryptonana, exit liquidity, dump it all. hodl-nana, dump it all. It's the circle of exit liquidity, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and FOMO, till we find our place on the path unwinding in the circle of exit liquidity. Dump it all.
All right, so hey everyone, welcome. How's it going, Matt?
Good.
Yeah, happy Friday, everyone. I'll officially roll the intro in just a little bit, but we're talking about one of the most original topics to discuss in this day and age, which is AI, and more particularly how the AI slopification of things, but also how it can be good. Like, for example, if you were just listing the Circle of Exit Liquidity, one of my favorite songs, pure AI, not a lot of tweaking that went into creating that. It's just like, here's some fun lyrics, use that and make it like the Lion King thing. And it turned out perfect and beautiful the first time. And I don't think I could make it. It could be better at this point. Like, there's no like, oh my gosh, add a little bit of extra symbol in the background, or no. I think it's where it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all going to just be about curation, right? I mean, You can produce a lot more content now, and even good content now. Like Claude 4.6, Opus 4.6 is a great writer. And the music composition keeps getting better. So really, it's going to be about curation. It's going to be about style and soul. There's a lot of intangibles with human musicians as well. Like humans are sloppy, and even if they're technically superior, they're also sloppy. So that adds to their sound and creates a vibe that we search for. So you're right. Like there's a lot of AI sloppification. You see it all over Twitter, all sorts of, writing, whatever. It's there. But we're just but we see it. Like I see it, you see it, people call it out now, and you just get turned off by it because it's not it doesn't create, like, it doesn't pass the curation test where we're like, this is actually feels like legitimate art or something. So that's what age we're in.
Do you think that we're at the point where it can accurately imitate creators and kind of almost do originals in the way that you take like a very original artist or, Stevie Ray Vaughan or whatever, and just be like, make a new song by him and give a few parameters, and it does seem like it's a quality extension of his actual creativity rather than just an impersonator, like a Trump impersonator doing all this stuff. Like, do you think it's
hand gestures?
Yeah. Do you think it's do you think it's actually at the point where it can credibly extend, say, you as a musician, your body of work, or is it still kind of just like a cheap imitator?
No, it can't do that yet. Do I think it will be able to do that? Yeah, of course, because you just think AI just keeps getting exponentially smarter and better at stuff. So I think so. Like from a writing standpoint, it's close. If it's not right on, it's close. It's going to be indecipherable here very soon. But from a music standpoint, it's harder because there really is slight inflections. Like if you think about Stevie Ray Vaughan's a great example, a phenomenal guitar player, lost him way too young, very sad, phenomenal. If you watch some of his live specials that he did, like live at El Macambo,
that stuff is electric. No pun intended.
Exactly. He is so gifted and good. But there's nuance just in the way that his right hand works and his left hand works. There's little almost flaws or articulations that you just, if you don't study his music, it probably could pass. But if you're someone who's intimately familiar with how he sounds, or if you're the artist yourself, you're probably like, no. Like if I right now, I have enough of a body of work out there where an AI could probably take that body of work and create some sort of composite me and write songs. It would never pass. Like I would listen to it and it would be like, no, that's not. It might sound like me, but it wouldn't have the soul and the essence of me. I would be able to tell. Yeah,
it wouldn't like extend the things. And so, like for example, the Crypto Quorum space that I host every Thursday now, the theme song for this, we're on our third generation of theme song, and this one I thought like, let's try to imitate it because I was a big fan of Nightwish growing up, right? And I was like, oh, Nightwish is great. Let's just do a Nightwish style, like symphonic power metal type deal, and it does sound like it, but it's not. It's missing the sauce, for sure. It's not another Nightwish song. It's like it's a cool sounding theme song for a space, but it's not like it.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is like right now, music is. I'm a musician, so as you know, so like this is a important and interesting topic for me. But like music for the last decade or so has really been about background music. It's like while you're texting, while you're gaming, while you're communicating with your friends, it's background. That's why people listen to
lo-fi
Drake
chill
and think
beats
it's okay.
to study to,
well,
right?
That's even better. But like you've got people who top the charts, who've got like the most spins on Spotify. Drake is a prime example of that, and he has really no soul or essence, but he's so benign and vanilla that it works as background music. So I think AI will be able to generate miles and miles of
lo-fi hip hop beats to like text your ex to. It's like
exactly.
Because people are always doing that. They're not sitting there like what kind of although do you think that there might be a resurgence in more forward music because of the younger generation's practice of what they call raw dogging, like raw dogging life, like not just being on their phone or internet or watching a movie, just staring and like that. Do you think that'll maybe bring the swing back?
I think many people still love music, and so they want to see it live or hear something original. I have a lot of non-musician friends who just love the shit out of music, and so they're not listening. They need something that's going to speak to them, and that background music doesn't. And so, and I think people want really, like, human connection is so important in our world. It's like we're really wired chemically, emotionally that way to want to interact with other people. And you think about it from like a Darwin situation, we have to, because we got to work together. No one's good at 100% of the things. So we want to work with other people and do stuff with other people so we can, achieve things together. And so that human connection is so wired into us. We want that from our art as well. I don't think that'll ever go away. We're like, we want to know the human that created that. So I do think, music is always cyclical. Because you'll have the singer-songwriter, till you have the electronic, till you have the full metal band, till you have it just kind of happens. People just get sick of hearing the same old thing, and the same thing's going to be the case with this music, with this background music. People are going to be just like, nah, let's have something new. This is boring. I get bored.
Yeah, makes sense. And same thing to podcasting. Some person I know was like, hey, someone has this idea for a really cool thing to do on this blockchain, and but he's just like, it's all in Italian. And so I'm like, all right, well, I don't speak Italian. It says, okay, so let me just give you some AI thing. And he literally, instead of just doing AI translation thing, he had a tool make it into like an English language podcast with two fake hosts going back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, I would never listen to that podcast. It was way too like slopified, but it was still like remarkably like, it is a definite substitute for a shit podcast. Let me just say,
I wonder if he used Gemini, because I think it's Gemini has, my buddy Xavier showed me this, and it was pretty unbelievable if he used the same thing, but it allows you to research a topic and then it creates a podcast out of that topic so that you can more easily ingest it. And the hosts sound like remarkably good. I mean, you can still kind of tell, but remarkably good. And you can call into it and like ask it questions. It's crazy. I think it's Gemini that does it. It's crazy.
I'm so cooked. My shit podcast is over.
No, people still want to be able to relate. Like that's the thing that the 21st century has really given us, is access to people who are doing stuff that we like. So I don't think you're cooked at all. I think people want to know, have access to the people that are doing stuff, and you can't do that with an AI.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Let's officially roll the intro thing and then dive into the meat of things. All right, ready, go. So, hey everyone, welcome. Episode 223 of the Digital Cash Rundown. Means I've been doing it for 223 plus weeks, kind of since 2020 or so. I'm joined by the one and only Matt Carano. How's it going, man?
Good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here. And as we sort of had a, off-chain chat or whatever they call it, we've been, I don't know, kind of old heads in the space for a very long time. And,
feel old.
It is funny to see a lot of like the kids, like, oh man, I've been here forever. I've been here since 2021.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. It's it's funny because just this week, that post on X that I did almost 13 years ago, buying stuff from your cafe in Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's right.
Came back up, and a lot of people are just like, wow, and they're like, I remember some friends were just commenting on it, being like, oh, Bitcoin, what? They don't take Dash? I'm like, that was like several months before the chain launched. There was nothing there. It's just like OG,
What was even there at the time? There were a few other things, right? Was there something like Namecoin around? And
yes.
There were a few things, but there wasn't a lot out there.
There was of survivors. So,
maybe
there
Litecoin
was Namecoin in 2010 and Litecoin 2011.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it.
Maybe Doge happened right around then too? That was so early, wasn't it?
I'm gonna have to just look that up real quick for Doge in particular. But like as far as survivors, there's basically just like Namecoin's gone. They're not really
gone.
there. It's basically just Litecoin before. Their 2014 bump had some like Digibyte Dash Monero,
Yeah,
and then some
yeah.
other stuff. Like stuff came out that's around from 2014, but like
Yeah.
nothing really. Let me when did Dogecoin
Yeah,
launch?
Ethereum's only 10 years old. Feels like that's an
Yeah.
old one, but
I do remember remembering when a chain launched. Now, to be fair, like I didn't remember when Dash or Monero actually came out because I was in like Bitcoin, and then
yeah.
a few months later I was at PorkFest and someone was accepting bacon pancakes for Darkcoin, which is what Dash was called before, and I was like, "Ooh, that's cool," but I didn't remember hearing of a launch.
Yeah.
I do remember when Ethereum launched. I do remember when Zcash launched, for example. Yeah, so December 6th, 2013. So no, Dogecoin did not exist at the time of that. It was
Got
like
it.
a week or two, a couple weeks away. So wild to think about, huh?
Lots changed since then. I mean, personally, professionally, and in the world of crypto. I mean, in some ways, it feels like we're at a plateau in a very stagnant place. Like you had like a lot of rapid development, not even just marked by all the coins that launched. It wasn't that. It was just like rapid development towards a mission. Whether you were a Bitcoin or Ethereum or a Dasher, it's like there was all this heightened expectations about what was just around the corner. But it feels like we've sort of plateaued with the same sort of DeFi bullshit since 2017. That's like 9 years of that. And I know every time I see you, I complain about the same goddamn things, which is Ethereum, the stack does not really exist right now that allows for things like decentralized marketplaces, unstoppable marketplaces, any unstoppable app that requires communication and storage. It's not quite there yet. And I mean, I mostly blame Ethereum and the Ethereum Foundation because they're the ones that really started making these smart contracts. And so if anything, it's on them. I mean, they've got billions of dollars. Like, let's solve this fucking problem. But that hasn't existed yet, and that's just the next level is unstoppable marketplaces. That's what gets you to unstoppable network states. You got to get that first. So, and we're just not even there, and like we're 10 years into Ethereum, so feels like a plateau. And your post last week about like the I don't know, like what are they even doing at the Ethereum Foundation anymore? They're just playing some sort of cultural games, weird cultural games, and it's like, make the technology usable,
Yeah, do something. That's one of like I kind of feel like this could be maybe a hot take, but I kind of feel like money is not good in some ways. This is the most commie nonsense you're gonna hear me say for a while.
yeah,
but like
from a libertarian.
Yeah, when you have so much money, like again, Bitcoin had a lot of success and still does, and just did nothing with it after a certain point. And Ethereum, same thing, just did nothing with it. Everyone gets a bag and then just wastes it. It's just like every trust fund kid. And I almost kind of feel like the secret to development of crypto protocols and technology is almost like a financial edging, where you just give them a little, just give them enough to keep developing, but you just hold it back and just make them work for it,
Yeah, I think that would have been better. But it's hard on the front end. I mean, now you know better, but like Ethereum on the front end, they probably thought they had something, but they didn't really know. And so, yeah, it was hard to like think because there wasn't really anything like that existed before it. So they had to parse the pie in a way that would make sense so that they could incentivize themselves. I mean, to keep going. I mean, they were taking risks themselves. Of course, you've got Vitalik's 18 years old, so he's got 50 years of risk he can take. It wasn't that risky, but yeah, I mean, he's done a lot, and the Ethereum Foundation in some ways have done a lot, and there's been a lot that's happened on Ethereum, but particularly this past cycle, this past like bull market, it's just felt extremely stagnant. And no one else is doing anything. I don't mean it like this, but like anybody who's trying to compete with that stuff, like Unstoppable Market, Solana or something, it's not doing anything either. It's just another casino. All these things are casinos.
Yeah, because that's kind of where the money is, and that's the other unfortunate thing is the no money. That's why you got to do the edging. Right? It's just the no money, you can't get anything done either.
That's right.
And
True.
I kind of, from where I'm sitting in the space, it does seem like I think we're going to have a massive breakthrough in the next 5 years. And the reason for that is nothing has come together yet, but all the ingredients are coming together. And so, like, I see, this guy's like cross-chain dexes weren't really a thing before Thorchain, and now
True.
they are, and now they're getting faster and better and more efficient.
Yep.
And there's more of them. There's new ones coming out all the time, and then you have things like, obviously AI is going to be a massive accelerant, especially for like smaller teams. But you just have a lot of these components where like there are millions of merchants that accept crypto directly into their legacy point of sale systems around the world now, and that was just not a thing.
True.
And it's still, you go around your towns, like locally here or where you're at, you're gonna find nowhere to spend crypto, but it's already like ready. So like we just connect a few things, add a few things together, and we're all ready to go. I just think that like the market leaders are nowhere to be seen. Like I don't think Bitcoin's in any position to do anything.
Not
I don't
really.
think Ethereum is, and I think Solana is probably in the best position to do things, but it's kind of squandering it with weird nonsense, trying to be like, I kind of feel like it's almost like the third generation protocol of after a thing ends up getting things right, whereas like the first one, let's just say, the Ethereum obviously got things wrong because it was first and other reasons, but let's say then the cheap imitator, whether it's the Binance Smart Chain or the Solana or whatever, is trying too much to be influenced by the founder, so therefore no. But it's the grandchild. I don't know, like I'm not sure what's the next one. Is it Near? Is it Sui? Is it whatever is the one that gets to make something actually new?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, for right now, it's just felt like like photocopy bands. Like you get to a point where you had metal, and then you had new metal, and the new metal just like wasn't as good. Like Nickelback was not as good as.
By the way.
Oh yeah, it's rough. That was a rough time in music in the early 2000s there with the rock stuff. Yeah. But yeah, you had like you just sort of the photocopies of them, and then they just start, because you had like grunge, and then you had this sort of post grunge. The grunge was good. Like you listen to Soundgarden, it still stands up. It's amazing. But then you listen to like the photocopies after that, like whatever, Muddy by Blurry. I can't remember that band, but there's all these like terrible kind of who's the guy that married Gwen Stefani? Their song was Machine Head. Like they were this kind of the next photocopy of grunge, and it just wasn't very good. And like that's my worry, is like everybody's just trying to, because what happened with Solana is they went full on meme coin, which is the most ridiculously stupid, non-usable, just like money grab bullshit thing. Like that's not technology. That's not freedom tech. That's nothing. That's just like to go all in on that and on the casino is like really
showed
harrowing.
me that. I was on a work call with someone who was saying, "Oh, why don't we integrate into your Telegram bot, all this kind of stuff?" And it's like, "Oh, mostly we were at a Telegram exchange bot for meme coin traders." And so then he like showed me the whole thing, because I'm just not into the meme coin world.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh, let's go to Pump Fun and let's just like randomly buy some token." And he's like looking through, like this one's everyone's pumping it because it's live streaming on the creator, and he's asleep right now. You can see he's sleeping on the couch, so he can't dump the coin on them.
Right.
So because he's asleep. So while they're watching he's asleep, they're pumping it.
That's
because
funny.
they know as soon as he wakes up, they're going to dump it. So he's like, let's buy some of this. And he puts it to his Telegram bot, and he's like, all right, now I'm going to go hit this command, and I swap it back to Solana. And he does it. He says, oh, I made like 8% profit on that trade. And it was in the course of like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it just like, wow.
There it
it's
is.
Like, this is crack. This is not good at all.
No.
This sold to this.
No, and I have no problem with people making money, of course, like whatever. But it's just a gamble. It has nothing to do with freedom tech, and that's the only thing I really care. I mean, I want to make money too, but like that's what I care about. I also thought the second generation of the Ethereans too came in as well, who just joined the DAO people who just joined a bunch of DAOs. They just were all I don't want to say it like that. A lot of them were just really like democratic socialist types. Like they were like feelings like, let's all get together and lift each other up. But that's not a problem. But like they didn't have the core philosophy that supported it in a liberty loving way. They had it in a more of a totalitarian way. So I just saw those types of people all over Ethereum projects and kind of the second generation of that. And it's just such a big turnoff, because you and I were at the same place at the same time, where there's all this innovation happening around crypto, in the early part of the 2010s, and it's very exciting because the type of people who were into it were the ones who gave a shit about freedom, gave a shit about human liberty. It's like there was a cause, and the technology supported that, and the money supported, like the money came from that. It was like 'cause supporting freedom. That's so exciting. Where, yeah, that's why the plateau part of it is just like kind of stuck on this level right now. Maybe that, hopefully that change. No matter what, crypto is here to stay. And the question is whether or not whether it's going to be used for good or for evil. Like the whole CBDC thing, like that's happening, probably backdoor ways, like that shit's happening. AI agents are going to have to transact with each other. So that's happening. But do we have the infrastructure to support people who want to live a more liberty infused life to do so? That's really going to be the question for me. And so far it hasn't. I hope it does, but so far it hasn't.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I kind of, sometimes I'm in it too much to see it, the forest for the trees and all that kind of stuff. The mind share of crypto's definitely gotten distracted for sure, especially the last few years. And I kind of think from my perspective, things have been linearly improving from what I've been very laser focused on, which is, freedom, money, payments, technology around that. And that the tech keeps getting better. And all these little components, like when I'm saying what doesn't work in 2016 or 2017, and that's all working better. Oh, what can I use it for? Oh, there's more of that. What is annoying to use about it? Oh, well, this is getting better. Like everything is getting better.
Yeah.
But it is kind of, you have to be just like really watching, you have to be like watching like a cat outside like the mouse hole, just like to see it. Because if you just look at the broad picture of the space, there's a lot of flailing around going on.
I saw your post about the wallets too. That was kind of a nice thing where you had all these people being like, "Oh no, look at mine! Oh no, look at mine!" It was fun to watch. But
and I was roasting every single one of those.
Yes.
And in fact, 90 seconds ago, I have to admit on the stream, I literally just did that to someone else saying, "You haven't tried my wallet," and I'm like, "I did. It sucks."
I did.
Shout out to Snake Wallet, but yeah.
Shout out to. Sorry to say bad things. But like, shouldn't we have nailed wallets at this point? Like, shouldn't we have just nailed that? Like, what are we doing? How is that not nailed? Like, how after 15 years is that not nailed?
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense to me. Like we need to be on bigger and better than wallets.
Well, yeah, and I have to say, it's stuff like comes in waves. People get distracted, and the number one reason wallets have not been nailed is because no one uses them. If people use them, yeah. If people needed to, if people were using this as their daily money, then you would have honed that in by now. But they're not.
Yeah.
But number two, there's different generations of things. Like, for example, you start with Bitcoin. Everything was simple when it was just Bitcoin, but then Bitcoin started to suck, and then you either had people making all kinds of excuses for the Bitcoin experience in their wallet design, and just like now you have a bunch of people who are used to just horrible experience, and therefore you don't have to have a good experience because it's horrible. Yeah. Or then you have a bunch of other coins, and then they didn't figure out how to like optimize for all of them well. But one of the most interesting kind of trajectories has been the payment protocol trajectory, where you start out with just a regular QR code, and then, what was it, 2012, you have BIP21, where you can grab the actual amount and maybe a little memo or something in a QR code. And it's funny to see BIP21 become unlearned, because today there's so many protocols that just they're not aware of it. So many payment gateways don't, like, it's regressed. They don't have that anymore. Like, you have to say, why do I have to type in my amount manually? We didn't have to do that in 2012, my man.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that. And then you move from that to BIP70, which you scan a QR code and it connects the server to another one, and then you arranges the payment details. So one QR code will, whenever you connect and pay, will rearrange the fiat conversion amount, for example. It won't just be like, oh, I paid it 10 minutes late and the price is off. It's like, okay, so that's good. But then BitPay was really into this, and BitPay implemented for their gateway at a time when only BitPay's own wallet could actually pay these things. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And then it became more of a standard, but then the Bitcoin Core people deprecated it from Bitcoin Core. So then in the BTC world, that kind of went away. But the Bitcoin Cash world, the Dash world, or whatever else, all kept BIP70 alive. And it's still, I just got a company to implement it like, a few months ago. And it's, still works, but it's not the most modern. And then we got to the connect to wallet phase, which is the bane of my existence, because it's all like MetaMask style permissions and things like that. Very EVM forward, and that is the standard today. That is one. And the entire UTXO world. And if you want to count the UTXO non-smart contract chains by users and market cap, it definitely eclipses the EVM world, at least by market cap. Maybe not, who knows by users. It's hard to tell. But the fact that they aren't included now is just like wild to me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they make Wallet Connect as like a Band-Aid on top of that.
Right.
It still doesn't.
It's like
It's
have a software to make sure that your software can connect to other softwares over and over.
Yeah. And it's where I think we're getting really close to like making it all work. But that was one of those things where the benefit of Thorchain and other cross-chain AMM dexes like that was that it allowed you to swap specifically Bitcoin and UTXO style coins for other ones.
Yeah.
But when it came out, not a single Bitcoin wallet could actually use any Thorchain interface because there was no protocol for like getting the op return stuff into the field.
Right.
And you'd have to like manually do your memos, or it's like connect a wallet. There's no connect a wallet Bitcoin wallet at that time, at least. And then it's like, okay, well, if you did BIP70, you could scan a QR code and it could auto arrange the details, including that. But then they just weren't doing that at that point. And so the solution that came out was Keystore, where you would create a Keystore file out of your seed or whatever.
Yeah.
Manually open the Keystore file and password decrypt it. And now you're connected, but it's the most ghetto nonsense in the world.
I feel like I did that very early on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think that was like the Keystore file thing was a thing back in 20 whenever that was, 12. Maybe I'm wrong, but that sounds familiar.
It's so this has been like this is one of the reasons why I feel like having a podcast would not be nearly as fun or useful if I didn't work in the space too, because that gets me to learn things that like I could just be like, some people criticize, I think sometimes unfairly, sometimes fairly, Joe Rogan for his fantastic podcast and how sometimes he has like a loop of things like, man, grizzly bears are so scary, man, or like whatever, like his just
AI will control us and all that stuff.
Yeah, like everyone sort of, especially as we age, everyone gets into loops, right? But part of kicking out of the loop is just having to learn on the job to keep my job, And one of these things, like when I got Dash on the Maya protocol, shout out to Maya protocol, by the way, I happen to be wearing their shirt today.
Nice.
There were no wallets that would work with it. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. And so everyone was having to learn what a Keystore was and figure that out just to do these swaps. And then now we're finally at the point where I'm working, Dash is in the Wallet Connect protocol now. And so now we just need to implement it into a wallet. So now you could actually scan a QR code from the wallet, from any wallet, and just hit, and then it'll work. But the point of like, you haven't figured that whole thing out, this whole side of the world, they didn't talk to these guys, and then they don't even know how that works. And I think that's one of the reasons why the whole thing's a mess. And I've been working with Near Intents lately, and I've been trying to use their wallets and the Near ecosystem. And I feel like they're very well-meaning, but they got a lot of those kinds of inefficiencies too, where I'm like, the wallet doesn't connect. So buy this wallet. Okay, I get this wallet. I try to connect. Oh, I don't have... You need gas to connect on this one, where you don't for Ethereum. Okay, well, how do I get some? Well, I got to do this swap exchange. Well, how do I do it if I can't? It just ending up having to,
that stuff is maddening. Like the gas thing, jumping chains or whatever, and now I need gas over here. And
let me hit another layer on that too, which is the next layer of wallets, of self custody, are multi-party computation style things, where It's kind of like a multi-sig, but it's
Yeah.
you can reform shares, and it can be a multi-currency as well. Like Voltisig is probably one of the better ones of those. But some of the newer ones are use a smart contract as a counterparty. So you have a share, and then they have a share, and basically it pre-programs in certain spending limits and stuff. Like if you want to spend more than $10,000 a day, the smart contract won't co-sign on that because they think you might be getting hacked or something. Some
Yeah.
very cool things,
Limits.
right?
Yeah.
And also those wallets manage a bunch of, they can send other cryptocurrencies on without having to bridge assets, which is great. The problem is because it's all in a smart contract on one chain, like there's one for Sui and one for Near, you need gas on those things. So if I wanted to use my wallet to send USDC on Solana, I would need Sui and Sol as both two gas tokens at the same
Yeah.
time. We're compounding gas tokens to send some fucking money.
No one wants to
ridiculous.
do that. Only you
Yes.
has the patience to try that. You have been living on crypto for a decade. Only you have the patience to try that. No one will do that. No one wants that. Jeez.
Yeah, no one, like, that's what the great and illustrious Ken Bozak put it beautifully, where he said, "We're the beta testers of money, man. It sucks."
It does.
Like,
That's a
yes,
good way
but
of
it's
saying
fun.
it.
well,
Yeah.
Speaking of suck, let's
Yeah.
get to this. Let's start drifting here, right? Let's get to the.
Okay.
Oops. Let me talk to this drift stuff. I don't know how much you've looked into the drift protocol stuff, but it's one of those things where for me, I find out something exists because it gets hacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why you have it. I mean, it 280 million can get pulled from it, and how did you never hear about it? But that's just
Yeah.
how did you
Because
never
there
hear
was
about
that-
something that big? But here it is.
So I'm just throwing up the announcement from Drift on April 1st. It says Drift, they're experiencing an active attack, blah, 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 has been suspended, according to security firms. This is not an April Fool's joke. We'll provide additional updates from this account as more information is available to share. Which, by the way, listen, I respect experts in many fields. Kudos to whoever decided April Fool's was the best time to time this exploit. That was a smart move.
That is
Brilliant.
fun. Yeah. Good job, hacker, I guess.
Evil
on that
people.
end.
Good job, evil people.
You're evil, but you have some, I don't know. You have some cleverness, I guess.
Yeah, you know everyone is going to be like, we got hacked, April Fools. And it's like, guess what? Slows them down.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so any quick thoughts before I start plowing through the other of these posts on it?
Well, I mean, so the thing that I told you before, as we got started, is the thing that really speaks out to me is USDC. It's already centralized. Had the opportunity to stop these transactions from going through, probably would have saved, who knows, hundreds of millions of dollars, and either chose not to. I have to think chose not to act, because how would you not have someone not be available for like 6 hours while the shit was going on? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's one thing to be decentralized and to commit to that, and like, we can't do anything. Like, we can't commit to that, and then it's like, okay, well, you take the good and you take the bad of that. There's cost to that. There's also great upside. It means that your app is censor resistant. But USDC is not that. Never claimed that. Has the ability.
Claims the opposite, in fact.
Claims the opposite, in fact. So, like, why wouldn't they shut that shit down? Like, that seems really odd to me.
Yeah, well, let's go to our buddy Tavano for some of her poignant insights on that. She says, the thing about large orgs who spend a lot of times looking like they're the best, Circle and Coinbase, is there's no decisions about such things. People who choose to work there are professional talkers who never make a decision in their goddamn life. They'll sit and talk and create tickets and pass info and have meetings and make group chats, form committees and review intel and write reports and celebrate wins and be kind to one another. None of these things actually doing anything. This is why they can't even comment on it. They have no idea what they're doing because they aren't doing anything. But no one even asks. They just ask, what is our policy on responding to such things? Then they wait a year for the policy committee to draft a policy that's never finalized. LMAO. So
I wonder, like, wouldn't there be some liability there? Like, if they have the opportunity to stop, especially like because this is a North Korean hacker, I think,
allegedly,
right?
yeah.
Allegedly, I guess. So I would wonder if there's liability there for them for not stepping in.
I have to say, I don't know if I was I'm trying to think about how much USDC I have. I have like $1,000 or $2 that I just haven't swapped to something real yet, but I don't want, that's all the, if you call that fiat, that's all the fiat I own, right?
Yeah.
But so, if I was a major USDC holder, I would be believing in their promises of whatever, and their guarantees or what the government would do. You know, I don't like to believe anything the government would do, but you know, and if this happened, I would probably just sue them. I would, if I had a few $1 million in USDC, let's say, and I lost anything more than like a couple $100 of that, and they didn't do anything about it, I would spend my money suing them. I think just be like, look, this I would be holding something other than your shitcoin. Like I could be doing something else, but I'm not. Like if I send something to a friend in a sanctioned country, I could get it all suspended. And I'm taking this risk for none of the reward.
Right.
Screw you. Like, no, I'm suing you. Do something about it.
Yep. No, I think that's right. Yeah, there's a certain right. It's like, and I can't imagine that. I can't imagine they don't get sued, but I don't. Yeah, it boggles my mind that Tay's, rationalization around it, like they just don't know anything or do anything. I can't imagine that a CEO, who I don't know who the CEOs of that company anymore, but whoever the CEO of that company is, isn't made instantly aware that there's a hack exchanging into USDC. And like, how is he not, like, how is that CEO not aware of that? And if you're the CEO, how do you not react? Like, it just doesn't make any sense unless they're trying to cover something up or hide something.
Well, it does make sense if you have a cynical, I try not to be cynical in an unrealistic way, but in my opinion, this is realistic now to be cynical about it. Where I think that what Tay was talking about is all the middle management stuff, where they literally don't have a plan. They don't know what's going on. And the reason they don't know what's going on is because they've never told to know what's going on. And the people that are not telling them to know what's going on are the people who benefit with not knowing what's going on. Because there is a wink and a nudge on this is very much, if I say this about Tether, no one's going to push back. If I say this about USDC, some people might, but they're wrong.
Doesn't have the baggage.
It's the same deal where people understand that there will be illicit things done with this, and the only freezings of accounts and things they do are enough so that they don't go to prison yet. And so but they want it to be free because people use it under the digital cash assumptions. And if it starts to become too censored, they're going to lose a lot of capital. There's a lot of criminals that use their chain and make money off, or just gray marketeers, let's say, who use their stuff. And if they actually enforce it, they're waiting for the government to make them. It's kind of reminds me of the immortal words of the philosopher known as the Batman of, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you. It's kind of that thing where they're like, they're not facilitating crime, but they just have to be incompetent at stopping it.
I see. So you think they're trying to have it both ways. They're centralized, but they're not going to act upon it because they want to appear as uncentralized as possible, because then more people are going to use it. Mm-hmm. So they want to have it kind of both ways. Cake and eat it.
Yes, they want to have their cake and eat it too. And I think that it's because, just like with the SEC, we ask people to come in and register, and that just means come in and get shut down.
Yeah.
We're at this weird spot. It's just like, I have not been to prison, knock on wood, right? But the people tell you that in prison you kind of have to play by the new rule set. You kind of have to do some stuff that's like not the right thing to do, but you have to do some survival-based things. And I think it's one of those types of things where you cannot be fully compliant in crypto. You cannot be a fully legitimate, legal entity, all this stuff, because you're just going to lose. You have to be, now that there is no punishment for that, it's just like, what kind of a chump in the U.S. drives the speed limit all the time? Like,
Right.
no one does.
Yeah.
People in other countries do. Sometimes you get to like, the Nordic, Germanic, whatever countries, and I'm sure it's like, you're 1 kilometer over the speed limit, straight to jail, and they're just really like that. But then there's other countries like, let's say Mexico or Italy, where people are like, there's what speed limit? Here
Right.
people kind of know what it is and sort of go close to the speed limit, but like not always. It's like one of those types of things where USDC was like, first of all, Tether I think is more successful than Circle, but they're both very successful for different approaches. Tether did like the bare minimum to not immediately go to jail, just literally as Wild West as you can.
Yeah.
And then they just grew and grew and grew everywhere in the world, and then finally it became untenable in places like the US and Europe. So they created the USAT or whatever their compliant stablecoin, just to like stay in the game. Whereas Circle also has a similar strategy, but they're not the lower bound; they're the upper bound of the bare minimum. They still want to do the bare minimum. But they're doing the bare minimum to not just not go to prison, but to appear legit. Whereas Tether doesn't care about, everyone knows they don't care about their reputation. Circle does care about their reputation, but they want to do the bare minimum in a field that's not going to look any further. And I think that after people like high profile people like Zach XBT doing this Circle USDC files, I'm going to throw up on the screen, as well as Tay and stuff like that, I think they're going to have to make some changes very soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's reputational cost to this, and I like that. I mean, there should be. If you're trying to play both sides here, you're not going to actually create. You're not going to give humanity the benefit of decentralized technology, which is censor resistant, and and in order to maintain centralized control, so you can say yay or nay whenever you want, you can't sort of hide that that's the fact. Like you kind of have to act like if people are getting hacked to the tune of $280 million, you have to step in. Like, I didn't agree. So, this was the DAO hack of 2000. What was it? 2015, 16, something like that. I did not agree with the Ethereum Foundation stepping in and basically,
because the whole chain got rolled back.
Right. Like, I did not agree with
that.
I thought that was a bad move, and so I philosophically agreed with the ETC people, because I'm like, no, I get it. Yeah, I get it. No one went to that chain, so it was kind of a dead chain. But I understood philosophically. I even spoke to people who were like a part of that, the defensive part of the hack, who also didn't agree philosophically with how it was handled. But so like, I'm all for, if you're creating decentralized technology and like your censorship resistance is your thing, like, okay, like, you live by it, you die by it. That's just the way it's going to be. So I didn't like that at the time. I liked that at the time, but then the Ethereum Foundation was selective about it, because they could have done it again during the parity multisig wallet hack, which, my project got hit in. They could have done it again, because it was not that long after. It was within like a year or something after. I think, I don't remember how it all flushed out, but they decided then, no, we're not going to do this again.
Rollbacks weren't trendy anymore, my man.
It wasn't trendy. It was like,
you lucked out.
well, I mean, that's fine, because I understood it, and philosophically that seemed like the right move, but at the same time it was like kind of shitty. But philosophically it was the right move. But this one, it's like, no, you're centralized, and you just let a lot of people get hurt for some shitty hacker. Who knows that they're using this? It could be like funded by if it's North Korea, it could be funded by the government. They'll just use that for, I don't know, to build another fake city or something. Who knows? But like, I think you got to step in. If that's your business model, you step in. I would. If I'm the CEO, I would have stepped in.
Yeah, and there is a sort of like two ways about things where businesses and entities in the crypto space try to cry, oh, permissionlessness, decentralization, whatever, when they want to avoid responsibility for things, but then they have the admin keys and they can do whatever they want. And so, like, for example, let me just switch to what Justin Bonds here said, a good friend of the podcast, He says the drift hack happened because of admin keys. We have to push back as an industry against their use. Make smart contracts unstoppable again. It only took fooling 2 people through social engineering to sign a fraudulent transaction. That is not DeFi. Admin keys defeat crypto's purpose. And then, of course, he goes on to complete list of admin keys in the top 100. Hype, MNT, Aster, Ondo, Paul, Anna, all these ARB, of course, Arbitrum. So, and a bunch of these other ones. So, like, imagine if someone finances, like, whatever they call terrorism these days. I don't know, is terrorism still spooky? Whatever. But whatever thing like that these days off of Arbitrum, right? Doesn't the Security Council there have sort of an obligation to censor now? Because they can. It's not that they have to move mountains to do it. They just do a couple little handshakes and you got it. Like now, like if they don't want to be on the hook for that, they should decentralize, you know?
Decentralize or don't be on the council. Like, yeah, if you are in the position where you have that power, you have to make those types of decisions and you got to be on the right side of the decision. I prefer in the most case, for most cases, I prefer a censorship resistant world, of course. But if that's not the world they're living in, then they need to make the right decision and not just bury their heads in the sand.
Yeah, and that's going back to our buddy Tay.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot of the friction that I had with her in the past was over Thorchain in particular and the swapping funds from North Korean stolen funds.
That's right.
And her argument was that even though they say about decentralization stuff, that they were still practically centralized enough, therefore they have an obligation to stop it. Kind of what we were just saying, sort of. Now, where the disagreement was, they're not trying to be centralized, and as it turns out, they weren't centralized enough to be able to stop it. Because when the whole ThorFi debacle went down, again, that's a story for another day for those who haven't heard about it, but there was some sort of an admin key in the protocol that the founder just used to just stop everything, which was a really stupid decision in my opinion. But then the nodes overrode the admin key and just kept things going. And so it was too decentralized to shut down in that case. They got rid of the admin key in a feature release. And then now every time North Korea does some shenanigans, some of the volume goes through Thorchain and everyone, all the interfaces block it off. They're just out there raw dogging memos on their own. And like, if you look down the list of the other cross-chain things, like Chainflip censors at the protocol level, right? They actually will block from the protocol level. Now, near intense is a little bit of a nuanced case from my understanding. From my understanding, the actual protocol itself is decentralized, but almost everything goes through this one-click solver bus that connects to all the market makers, and that is able to censor, and so they prevent all this stuff going through. So near intense, most people is a decentralized swap protocol that's built almost at 90+% of traffic goes through a single centralized service. So So yeah.
Well, then there it is. I mean, if the code doesn't allow you to do it, so the Thorchain example that you gave sounds like that the code did not allow them, or the system did not allow them to censor it. So there you go.
Yes.
Decision's made. But it becomes a tougher decision when you have the ability, and you should choose the right thing, which is it's not right to steal from people.
Yeah, and now the thing with Thorchain that's the nuance, which is where I guess Tay was going off on some stuff, is the nodes can pause trading on certain pools, and they do it routinely when there's a maintenance thing. Or, there's a little thing off, let's pause it and then push a patch and then redo it. So they can do it. So they could easily pause, like, they're throwing Solana through, let's pause the Sol route. They could do it, but they just decide not to, and there's enough of a diversity of them, you can't just go to one team and be like, you got to stop it next time. They're like, well, I wanted to, my node signaled to do it,
right?
These nodes over there didn't, and I can't do anything about it. So because it's a little squishier, I would say it's still decentralized at this point, but because it's a little squishier, whereas like to pause any actions on, say, the Bitcoin or Ethereum chain is just, you got to like bring down the whole thing, kind of.
Yeah, it's really not happening
hard
anymore. Yeah.
So because it's easier, but it's still decentralized, then it's like, well, you should stop it. And I disagree with Tay on that one, but I understand where the point is coming from.
Then I guess, yeah, you could just call it individual node operators or however it is, and you know, the ones that I don't know enough about it, but if it's clear who did what, then you can call those individuals out. I mean, you can't come down on the Thor chain team. I mean, that's not their decision. The decision's been decentralized enough where there's enough people there who are coming to consensus on something. You know, that's not the Thor chain team's fault. So then, yeah, I guess you could go after individual node operators or whatever, but that's it. Like the system is set up this way, and it decided. The system has a decision mechanism, and it decided.
Yeah,
which is different than you're the CEO of a company, and you can just direct the company to turn off a switch. That's a totally different scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can just snap your fingers and like
exactly.
Let's just say Anatoly, the Solana guy, right? He's like the head Solana guy ish, as from my understanding. If he wanted to shut down something on Solana, he'd probably struggle to do it, because even though I think that there's a decent amount of centralization in that project, I don't think he would have the capacity to coerce enough nodes to do something. I think it's kind of like out of his control at this point. And same thing as like Hoskinson with Cardano. There's not much of a Cardano without him, but at the same time, I don't know if he said block this, and I don't think they'd be able to comply, or they would want to, right? And so
that's not safe for them. Like, can you imagine? Either one of them could be held hostage. If they had that power.
There's something beautiful about the permissionless aspect of it in the lack of liability. Like, I'm not just saying if you agree with it, but the fact that like once you can censor, now you have to, and it's a full-time job. And it's one of those things where we're talking about consensus on things. Like libertarians hate the term the social contract, right? There is a social contract of some kind, which is like
cultural norms.
Law. Yeah, it's like common law, whatever. Those kinds of things where they come together. So the norm in the world was governments and central banks create currencies. Everyone else goes to prison. That was just the way it was. Satoshi did it and just hid. It just can't get me. And it was just out there long enough that now everyone's like, oh, I'm going to make a Litecoin. I'm going to make a Ethereum. People just start doing it and not going to prison. And then people are like, oh my gosh, the Binance hack, Safu and all that stuff. And CZ's like, oh yeah, we'll have the miners roll back the chain, and everyone lost their minds. And he's like, never mind. And because they didn't for Binance, now it's in social norms. You cannot censor the Bitcoin chain. Now, Ethereum has the complex thing of, with the DAO hack, actually censoring the chain one time, but then being like, no, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
But now no one thinks you can censor blockchains anymore for like transactions. With the DEXs, the cross-chain DEXs, everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're laundering, you got to stop it. Thorchain took all the brunt of it, and now most of the other ones, the fact that Thorchain's still up and running and businesses will do business with them and all this stuff, people kind of accept that they're not going to do that. And therefore, now it's the next thing of like, the wallet side. And then like, what happens when someone deploys an immutable wallet front end that you can't like there are already a few, like there's something, I think it's called Thordex or something. It's one of the Thorchain front ends that's hosted on IPFS, so it can't be taken down. And it's just like, all right, well then now oh my gosh, you got to take it down. And if you don't, what's the next thing? And so I like that idea of progressively getting society inoculated against this like statism of we got to just stop everything.
Right.
All that to say, USDC still can censor those damn transactions, and they're choosing not to. So
they are. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. So that was a couple days ago. So we'll see what happens. I haven't seen that much in terms of reputational hits besides the tweets that you sent me with Zach and Tate today. But it'll be interesting to see if there's any other fallout from that. Maybe the other problem though is like crypto is, well, we're in a bear market, so there's less attention on it right now. So that's one thing. But the other thing is, I think we're so desensitized to hundreds of millions of, like, that's not enough of a hack to like to raise the eyebrows anymore. It's like it's got to be at least a cool bill for it to be a good hack these days.
Yeah, and if you think about like it's always been centralized exchanges, and then there have been some
Yep.
DeFi protocols, and a lot of that's been Ethereum. And let me just throw this post from another buddy, DB Crypto.
Yeah.
He said,
He
was
goes
hacked,
hard
blah, blah,
too,
blah.
by the way.
Yes. And he says, there was no code exploit. It wasn't even a traditional key theft. Solana has a feature called durable nonces that lets
Yeah.
you sign a transaction today, but execute it weeks later. Sound familiar, EVM critics? Like he is. And think of it as writing a signed check, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so it's basically an architectural thing that allows this thing to happen. And then he had a back and forth with Tolly, where he basically said, there's no way to not have this feature because cold storage custodians have to have arbitrary amount of time to recover the key. So any system with smart contracts will basically end up with some version of this no matter what. And he also, as he responded, let me put this up on the screen maybe. What's dumb is that non-support was added because cold storage custodians didn't want to use a smart contract. They wanted something baked into the L1 because of some belief that it'll be safer, or that the risk of the system will be equivalent to the L1 risk itself. They didn't want to take the extra liability of blessing any smart contract.
Right.
Frowny face.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a little bit, again, just like sometimes giving people what they want doesn't work out, but it's also, I think that we're still in the Wild West where people can lose astronomical amounts of money.
Oh yeah.
And like, this is the mass adoption barrier, is people wanting to safely use their money, you know?
Can't blame them.
Yeah.
I made this money. I want to be able
Yeah,
to
and, like, I have
use
to
it and I
say-
can hack.
Personally, I've never been hacked or permanently misplaced crypto that I can think of. Maybe there was like $20 in a wallet somewhere or something like that.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
I did misplace a couple grand that for like a year that later I just stumbled into. I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay, good.
That's awesome. That's a good
But
feeling.
other than that, it's just in my 13 years of using this tech, it's just nothing, which is like, whoo, fingers crossed. But also, I almost never touch smart contract stuff. Like the Ethereum,
Yeah.
Solana stuff, I almost never, I dip into here and there. But I've kind of, you don't hear about many exploits. Like, how often do you hear about someone losing like $3 billion worth of Bitcoin? The only time you hear about that is if they hack an exchange. And usually
right.
when they hack an exchange, they hack Ethereum. And then they swap, like with Bybit, I think that was all Ethereum, right? And then they swapped it to Bitcoin using Thorchain, and then that's where Thorchain got all the drama. But just because it's more liquid, I guess, than Ethereum. But it's, for the most part, and I think that unfortunately the smart contract space is heading up the space. I don't think we need mass adoption to start at that complex end necessarily, but it is for better, for worse. And we have this sort of, cavalier attitude a little bit. And I don't.
Part of it doesn't feel real. I mean, it probably feels more real to you than most, but tokens on a ledger just doesn't feel as real as, like, for some reason. It does for you, I'm sure, because you denominate everything your entire life in crypto. But for most people, I think it's a little bit less. But I would say, on the flip side, I never feel comfortable doing a crypto exchange. Like, it never feels like, I mean, I've done so many of them, but it doesn't feel like, it's never as easy. I never feel as safe or as secure as other methods, unfortunately. And, if I feel uncomfortable, what normie is going to want to do that, take that risk?
It depends for me, really, because for basic transfers, I feel on a few, let's be honest, very few chains, I feel, pretty confident. Like, for example, if I send Dash to anyone, I just instantly am confident. If there's an error where it doesn't show up in a wallet for some reason, I'm like, let's figure it out, but I'm not thinking it got lost ever. Unless you literally lost the keys to the wallet. Other than that, which did happen to someone. I set someone up with a username, and then they're like, oh, I lost my keys. I'm like, God damn it. And then it turns out they later found it, which is great. But like, the point is, like, in my opinion, that's the biggest barrier is backups, right? Where one of my favorite ones, I don't know if you've ever used the Tangent folks. I don't know these guys, but
I've used similar though. Yeah.
yeah, it's in NFC wallet. They give you packet
Yep.
3. Sometimes you don't even have to have a seed phrase to start it up, and you just tap a card with a password, and you're in. You lose a card, you have 2 more. You lose you forget your password, and then you use 2 together to reset it, and it just works pretty simple. And I kind of view that like they also have a seed phrase. Part again, not sponsored at all, by the way, because everything is sponsored in this space. I just have to be very clear about that.
No worries.
disclaimer. But they didn't want a seed phrase. I think you should get a seed because they do have that function. I think you should get a seed phrase and just put it in a safe.
Yes.
And just use this as just a 2FA thing for your thing. And so then it's like the problem is to back up your seed phrase is still the way people back things up. And the secure way of doing it is either writing it down, handwriting it down, which has a lot of room for screwing that up, or doing little punching holes in plates, or just it's just not a good. So people are not going to do it, and so therefore, the backups suck. And I've had thoughts on how the right way to do it is, and I've documented extensively. I don't need to soapbox on my show right now about it, but I do think that once we solve the backup part, I think that dumb chains are going to be fine, right? We're going to be able to mass adopt dumb chains. Smart contract chains,
A little different.
yeah, but I think that there's just a few tweaks to that too, like understanding what people are signing, auto revoking signatures after a certain amount of time, and then combined with like the 2FA style setup before, I think, could be good.
We're just in this like worst of all worlds scenario right now where it's not, I mean, it's not as, I don't mean to be as down. That sounded more down than I really mean, but it's like you have to make a choice. Either it can be hard technology to use, but give ultimate freedom. And so the people who are really into that can actually use the technology and get the things that they want, get the censorship resistance they want. So you either got to go that route, and the UX can be kind of shitty, and that's okay, we'll do it. Or you got to go for mass adoption, which means you got to make things so easy that a ton of people can use it, and it's still better than going through fiat and using a central bank's currency and all that shit. So, but we've sort of tried to split the middle where we're kind of all right on UX, but kind of okay on freedom, but no one's really picked a direction. Maybe Zcash has, I guess you could kind of say they've really committed to that thing, but it's not easy to, and it's not easy to use, but
it's getting there, and I kind of think that they're one of the front runners of making things work in the proper way.
Yeah. One
concern I have with Zcash is and this is a semi concern because there's so much that's like not decided on yet, but the Tachyon upgrade is supposed to be a big way of making it scalable.
Yeah.
But part of that will be, from my understanding, and last I heard, things might have changed. Your seed phrase will no longer be your backup anymore. You will need your seed phrase and a separate ongoing backup file that you have to save in like a Google Cloud or something. And already that's like, I don't like that you have to, the complexity means you will trust a custodian. And I don't like that. And then in order to do a lot of transfers, you need like a new set of nodes to run things that keep all this like off-chain data that's now being required, because a lot of this stuff is being moved off-chain, and that if it's not baked into the protocol with like a master node system or something like that, then I don't trust that, because then you have to have a second layer of people to trust. It's kind of lightning networkification a little bit, and like, but without that, then you can't scale. I don't know. It's so tricky, but I do think there's enough people moving on this in the right direction. So one of the things, so like I use, again, not sponsored, but I did ask them to sponsor me and they said no. So I should talk shit, but NimVPN is a fantastic service that I've started to use because it's like a mixed net that's run through, there's no like central VPN server. It's like it is literally a crypto that runs all these, mixed nets all over the world. And so you kind of go in and out one side. But the point is, it's not working for my private devices right now for my crypto wallets, because my crypto wallets are too decentralized in that they communicate directly with the network.
Yeah.
And NIM exit nodes have a policy of blocking all these ports by default, and literally people have had to do DAO proposals to like unblock the Bitcoin port or whatever, unblock the Dash port. And so we're still working through some of those things. But the point is, the shitty kind of like modern wallets work fine. It's just like the ones that are real, like actually decentralized, those ones,
don't work yet.
Kind of don't work. And so it's been fascinating, but it's all moving in the right direction,
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's gonna happen. It just happened. It's internet money. It's gonna happen. So crypto's the way. It's the way forward, especially with agents. So it's gonna happen. But I really worry about the next 5 years, honestly, just because of the explosion in AI. It's like where I've spent most of my time recently. For the last 2 months, I've just really spent a lot of time. Well, I've been using AI for a while, but in a more like set up an agent team and like doing a bunch of stuff with it. And I really am very optimistic about the future because of AI, because it just allows us to extend ourselves further than we can just on our own. And so for things like solving problems and all that stuff, it's even global problems, it's really going to be the way, health problems, life extension, all that stuff. So I'm very optimistic. But it's so, I'm really worried that that same technology is being used by some of the worst people, the monopolies of force at the same time. And it's the same thing with crypto. It's like they'll need to connect their AIs, their agents are going to need to talk to other agents, et cetera. And crypto will be the natural way to do that. And so I just really think that we need to prioritize Liberty technology and this technology going in the Liberty direction in the next 5 years, or it's going to be, we're going to be in a really tough spot. So it's going to happen. I just hope that there's enough people, especially OGs or even new blood, I don't even know, in the space who are trying to keep moving the industry towards liberty and not the other thing, not the corporatization or not the sort of the weird cultural experiments that Ethereum's doing right now.
Yeah. I'm optimistic. Part of it is just because I'm an optimist. Part of it is because I'm biased towards that because I'm working in that side of the world. But then the other part of it is I have noticed like there was a lot of energy in 2013 era when I got into crypto because it's like, oh my gosh, the new stuff. And then the first $1,000 market really powered the building of the bear market after that then, like there was a lot of that stuff. And then after the block size wars, that really split the energy. It wasn't. And so even though there were plenty of successors to the digital cash mantle, no one really took off because not only was it splintered, but also just the overall movement energy, kind of like the Ron Paul era is over. It's like that era of that momentum, just like it comes and it goes. Now I'm seeing the privacy coin resurgence that started a couple years ago, maybe. And we saw the first sparks of it in like October of last year with the Zcash hyperpump. Now everyone's virtue signaling about that stuff. Near has a private shard that they do for the private intent stuff, and then just there's a million Solana apps that do privacy and everything. Everyone's talking about this stuff. It's almost like, and all the crypto conferences that are focusing on privacy and stuff are starting to become a lot more like radicalized and like it's hot again, like it's coming in. So because the very like roots of crypto that I think that we all subscribe to, the OGs, is sort of back with a vengeance in its own small subset. There's the casino stuff. I kind of feel like this was like the last casino era where this is like what crypto is, where you had many presidents launching meme coins. You had even massive celebrities like the spit on the thing girl doing her own meme coin. Like that's what crypto is. Yes, that's what the crypto is for people. And it's funny because my sister-in-law, who's early to mid 20s, was like messaged me like a year or so ago and it's like, hey, what do you know about Solana? And I'm just like, oh no. Just instant sphincter clench, just waiting for like, where is this gonna go? And it's just like, oh yeah, one of my friends, her boyfriend works in it. And I'm like, oh really? Is he like a developer or something? Because I'm like, maybe it's okay, but I kind of knew. It's like, oh no, he's like unemployed. He's a meme coin trader.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's not gonna last.
Yeah. So that's what people think of the space, the degen stuff, and I think that that's over as the apex of the space. I think it's I think next cycle it's not going to be degen forward.
I don't know how it could be. Like all retail, all the liquidity in retail got destroyed by Trump coin and Melania coin and all the other shit out there, and then all the meme coin stuff. All the degens who were, no one made money off that. Like 1% of people made money off that. Trump coin, I don't even know. I haven't even looked at that token in a while, but it's like it lost, what is it, like 99% of its value. Like people got screwed from that. That really crushed this last bull market. But so I imagine, people. The other thing is, I don't know that anybody's going to really, like, the social media has really changed the game so much now because people just learn about things and know about things. So I don't know that enough people are going to be able to get fooled by that degen play in the next bull run. But we'll see. Hopefully it's not, and it's kind of over. But hopefully that's done. But the resurgence with the privacy coins, I wonder if that's also because people are just, the way that we're able to get information now, that we couldn't get even 15 years ago, how fast it is. I wonder if people are just more aware of how powerful the state is, and because of that, like they know, they've seen not just the United States, but everywhere, like they've seen their currency debased. They've seen the wars. They've seen, the major conflict in Ukraine and Russia, now the major conflict in Iran and the Middle East. Like there's just all these unsettled spots all over the world, and or like the rise of China. And so I just wonder if maybe because of that, people are just more aware and are thinking more security conscious now than they were in the past. Even more normies are. A lot of the Zcash pump was, of course, that was just a degen play, but a lot of it was. But hopefully, it was also people recognizing that this can be a gate against a wall against monopolies who are after you. So hopefully,
yeah, there's both, right? Like you definitely see. I think that there's obviously, so here's a couple things with privacy. First of all, I've definitely noticed there was the old cypherpunk ethos, like the old heads like us. Again, I'm one of those people who is maybe not as observant on all this stuff because I've just been in the game constantly. There's been no ups and downs, so I've just been like steady there. But there are a lot of like old heads who were really energized and then sort of like dropped off, who are now coming back in, right? And so the privacy thing is bringing a lot of OGs back into things.
Good.
I'm seeing that. I'm also seeing what I would call the Gen Z Nirvana effect. I don't know how many like young, isn't paying her own rent yet girls have you see with Nirvana shirts around.
Well, I don't really travel in those circles, but I'm going to take your word that there's a lot of Nirvana folks.
Travel on the streets, you see them walking down,
That's not true. There's a young guy at a coffee, he's probably early 20s in the coffee shop right down the street from me. He had a Nirvana t-shirt on, and I was like, yeah, I saw them in 94.
Yeah, and he wasn't alive then.
And he was not alive then.
Yeah. And so, but it's cool. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like everyone likes the old school stuff that's cool. And so I kind of feel like there's a lot of new kids coming in that are like, ooh, the old cypherpunk. Like, obviously they like the degen shit because whatever, but then they're like a lot of, there's like a Solana Zcash connection, for example, where a lot of like those kinds of people are also like, they understand that that's not cool, or it's fun, but it's not like hardcore. No one thinks Solana is hardcore. Maybe Justin Bonds, but other than that, no one does. And so it's far, but then they're like, oh my gosh, this is encrypted Bitcoin, and this is cool, and they really like that. And so there's that resurgence. And then the third part of it is no one will take this shit seriously without privacy. It's more like major hacks and exploits are 50-50 with privacy as far as keeping people out of the space. And so like I this is something I haven't looked into enough, but I've heard there's this network called Canton that everyone's into that's like a private blockchain that also is kind of permissioned, but there's many such cases. But a lot of institutions are supposedly clamoring to get on there, like was it Google runs a validator or something? I don't remember, but like a lot of these are getting into it because what institution is going to do all their trading in clear text just for in HTTP, no HTTPS, just no one's going to do this stuff.
No one's going to do it.
Like if you have dumb monkey JPEGs in your Ethereum account. You don't care if the world sees it, but if you have the NFT and RWA for your house title and your car title
Right.
and your thing all in there, no one's just going to have that out in the open. People just not going to do it. So because you have now permission to privacy is always an admin key hack away from being no privacy, right? So I think that there will be this like cypherpunk ethos. I think we will have some kind of decent privacy in the future, and I think that that our way of life, right, has a future. And of course, it's great to be like, oh yeah, we're all gonna be great, you know. But what was that that Wojak meme where they're all like hands on the shoulders and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, of course we'd feel that way, but also I think I see it too.
I hope so. Like I said, I think it's going to be really important in the next 5 years to do this, that we really steer this technology towards liberty. I've been harping on needing sovereign hardware. That's like really the big problem right now. It's like if your DeFi app is on AWS, you don't have sovereignty. Like I'm sorry, you just don't. And even like all these this key storage stuff, like when you have exchanges and things, and they've got their stuff on even these HSMs that don't have enough security, aren't air gapped or whatever, like you're going to get hacked. I think that's what happened. Well, no, the drift hack was social engineering, but still, it's like if you don't have sovereign hardware, like really sovereign hardware that cannot get hacked, like none of this shit's going to survive AI anyway. So, and you need AI that has that's on a sovereign box that is beholden to your values and is not beholden to
The Claude
whoever.
gods.
Anybody, like Claude or Anthropic or OpenAI or any of those, or even Elon. Like we can't. It's not going to work. Like we're going to be controlled. It's going to be a prison if we do that. So that's really the next thing is getting to sovereignty on the hardware level, and we need to do that as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I am one of the most boring / legit users of crypto in the world, in that like I buy like coffee and pay for rent and buy like a new phone on Amazon or whatever.
Normal
And
shit.
Nothing crazy. And like, because I do know a lot of friends from back in the day who bought some like low level stuff like cannabis on the Silk Road and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was like never me. Like not that I'd admit to on a podcast anyway, but the point is just like, I just buy like random stuff. But we do need sort of the other side of things to test if the rails are decentralized.
We do.
So like people say that like there's the DPRK test is the decentralization test. Like if North Korea is using your shit, then you're decentralized. Because
Good way of
if
saying
you
it.
weren't, no one would touch that stuff, right? No one would
True.
let it happen. The other side of that is, do you remember when the NPM hack went through? I don't know if you remember that within the last year.
Sounds familiar.
There's the NPM something package manager. I don't know. I use it, but I don't care what the acronym says. But basically it was like an upstream thing in a bunch of repos that affected like all like the JavaScript stuff. Like pretty much like not just in crypto wallets, but on a lot of things. And some hacker compromised like the GitHub of one developer and pushed a malicious commit everyone just threw in. And so then basically I think there was something like a couple grand stolen, which is like obscenely low for how like MetaMask got hit by this, for example. All Phantom Wallet, from my understanding, I don't remember, but like all the big ones got hit with this exploit. And then there was this big long page, like everyone, all the headlines, like almost every crypto wallet in existence has been hacked or exploited. And I was like, wow, that is awful. And then I'm scrolling down my feed and it's all like the companies that like I've worked with, and they're all like, statement on NPM hack, blah, blah, blah. Thankfully, we didn't use any NPM stuff, so we're okay. Thankfully, blah, blah. Thankfully, over and over, because none of the wallets I use, I don't use any cool wallets. I use all the lame stuff. And so none of them got hit because they didn't have those upstream copy-paste dependencies, you know? So you do find that based on like who gets wiped out with the NPM hack. When Iran hits an AWS center, which of your blockchain stops working?
That's right.
It's like, you get to see what is and what isn't.
Yeah, what's robust and what's not. And robust is just like, can it be censored? And if it is resistant to that, then it's robust. It's gonna last. But ultimately, like just with how powerful AI just hacked someone used AI to hack the Mexican government like a couple weeks ago or something. It's just like
I missed that part.
It's
I
just
think
going
I
to
saw
get
someone mention it.
it's just going to get better and better and smarter and more powerful. And so you need sovereign technology. Like you need sovereign hardware so you can keep your crypto safe on your own sovereign hardware. Same thing with your own sovereign AI that's protecting you against all the malicious AI that's out there as well. It's really the only way. It's solving this on the hardware level, and we just haven't. And I've known that this is a problem for years. Like everybody has talked about this, but it's like it hasn't really been a problem until like right now. It's really going to be a problem. Coming up. So yeah,
and I really hope like I've tried a couple on the AI front. I've tried a couple local models and with very little success. And
it's getting better.
I need to figure out. Well, my system just sucks. I need more GPUs and stuff.
That's the problem. Is like so you can get Kiwi. I can't remember what the model number is, like 2.5, 2.6, and it's really powerful. It's probably like Opus, not quite Opus 4.6, but maybe 4.5. But you need I don't know 600 gigs of RAM in order to run it. So you can't find that. You've got 12. Well, I mean Apple was selling a Studio with 518, but they took it off the market. It's no longer there. You can't even find it. So you'd have to spend I don't know $15,000-$20,000. I think I could be off. It could be more than that. I don't know, but a lot of money in order to get that type of RAM in order to run that. But that's going to get better over time.
Yeah, and the next thing, so I have, like, the reason I'm into crypto, and I posted something to this effect, is historically we've had companies that run shit, and it works, and you pay for it, but they can censor you or go out of business and do awful things. Or it's been open source shit that you either self-host DIY, so you have to literally be a data center to do everything you want to do, or you have to hope some other dude does it for free, and that's very fragile. It's like one of those two, and crypto's the only one to do like both, where it's open source, uncensorable, but it's 100% uptime, and you can actually pay for it. It's always going to be there for it. And so that's what I love again about NIM that won't give me any goddamn money, is that it's like a VPN that's not a company. It's just like a network that does that. It's a cryptoification of this, and I can't wait until there's nothing more cringe than the buzzword combo of crypto and AI. Crypto meets blockchain meets AI.
Yeah,
but if there is I would invest like a few K, if not like 20K, into a super robust local LLM thing if I could then get paid on a crypto network and crypto tokens to like rent it. Because it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm pretty sure like I installed the latest turbo quant nonsense to like make my stuff run a little faster. It is like I need to, for anything real, I need to pay Claude. I just do. And I don't want that to happen. I want us to be free.
And that's going to have to happen because we're not going to trust robots that have AIs that big companies own. We're just not. I would never trust a Tesla. I really like Elon Musk a lot. I mean, there's problems with Elon Musk, but he's done a lot that I really respect. And I mean, he's awesome. But I don't want my robot.
Buying us time.
He's buying us time. I do not want. I'm not going to buy a Tesla robot with an AI that's running it that is not sovereign to me. That has someone else's.
I'm gonna run graphene on whatever robot I got. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm rooting that shit. I'm not.
Dude, it used to be so much easier to root your phone and to put on cool OSs back in the day. Is graphene good?
On this phone, yeah, it's fantastic. So
I think I tried graphene. Sorry, go ahead.
First off, you have to have a Google Pixel now. Graphene is partnering with Motorola to do some Motorola devices as well. But if you have a Pixel,
was the problem. Yeah.
So that was the one barrier. But when I got a new phone, I just purposely got a Pixel, and then this is my next Pixel that I got. So I have an ancient Pixel if you want it. But basically, it works like Android, and the only things that don't ever work, it runs better and more securely because it doesn't have all this spying crap on it. The only things that there's some things that work a little quirky because you need to like give it all this awful invasive permission for everything to work perfectly, but you can kind of sandbox it, right? The only thing that will never work is if you need to tap and pay on your phone. then it will never work.
It's
So
not
that's
gonna
why I connect to this watch here, and the watch taps and pays.
Huh.
So that's my workaround for that.
That's a smart
But if you
workaround.
don't have a watch and you need to tap and pay with your phone, it's like that one use case. I mean,
Yeah.
you probably have a plastic card anyway that you can just do without a phone. So, like,
Yeah.
other
Back
than
in the
that,
day, I
it's-
felt like
yeah.
we had so many options. Like I had I had loved Cyanogen Mod on my phone. I loved that on my Nexus 5 back in the day. And
Mm-hmm.
like Cyanogen Mod went away, and then I guess graphene is it. But then you have to use that phone. So I feel like we had
Yeah,
way more
or-
options back then.
or some select Motorola devices soon. So I guess
Yeah.
we'll have a few options, but hopefully it becomes like, again, the fact that we had a super secure, privacy preserving OS that actually works and is maintained on a certain set of devices, and the fact that it's not only still there but it's expanding. It's like that they're actually talking with a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Right. I think that this is the foot in the door where now we're going to have a sovereign future, where before that wasn't the case. Linux used to be, I mean, I've been a Linux user for 9 years now, and I don't realize I am sometimes because it
Yeah.
just works, but it's still, even then, Linux is a little hackier than Graphene. Graphene just
Yeah.
works, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's good. Maybe I should look into that. But I did a while ago, because Cyanogen Mod, they stopped doing it for whatever reason. And then I was like, okay, what am I going to do next? And for a while, there wasn't really a good option except for graphene, but it was on phones that I didn't use. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I should go that route. I really like that. I mean, I'm not a developer in any way, but rooting my phone was like cool. It was so cool to be able to do that. Install
Yeah.
Cyanogen Mod. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, root in everything. Like, it's the ultimate thing about. I think that's one thing that keeps me in crypto is, as a nerd and a frontiersman of some kind, of a digital frontiersman, physical. I mean,
Yeah.
I chop my own wood that heats the house in the winter and stuff, right?
There you go.
But like, as that, we like to do a DIY thing. Everyone likes to tinker. Every dude has their own version of a garage
Yep.
where they tinker on stuff. But also, like, freedom-loving people like to run their own local models, do whatever. They like to do their own thing. And
Yep.
so crypto allows me to do that. But also I realize that you need something that works at scale. And crypto also allows you to do that. So the same thing satisfies my desire to be useful to the human race as a whole, as well as do my own tinkering stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, both worlds it fulfills. That's good. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we should probably wrap this thing up. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah.
Good
Sounds
time
good to
for
me.
it? Well, before you think about what you want to shell, before that, there's a new hotness from Tay dropped during our show.
Wow.
Just show that up, getting off the press. It was in response to that USDC files that Zach XBT posted. This guy, Salman Benet, says there's a liability risk if the issuer erroneously freezes a digital asset ahead of a formal law enforcement order. Lawmakers should provide a safe harbor from civil liability if digital asset issuers freeze assets when, in their reasonable judgment, there's a strong basis to believe that illicit transfers have occurred. That sounds like a reasonable take. And then we go down to Tay. He says, yeah, best not to do anything because the DPRK might sue you. You're right.
Well, I was thinking that too. It's like, wouldn't it? I think actually, I was thinking kind of.
They're both right, I think. But it just,
I
love her zingers.
I was feeling a little Tay on that one because when you were reading that to me, I'm like, well, but what's the worst? Like, the worst case scenario is you stop a transaction from going through, but then you let it go through. So like, okay, so there's maybe a little bit of a delay. Where the flip side of that is you let transactions go through that are stolen funds. Well, someone loses their money. So it's much worse to let stolen funds go through than to block someone's funds for a couple minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you know how many people have gotten their Coinbase accounts shut down? How many people have gotten their
A lot.
whatever stuff, like Changely blocks their whatever, like how much, and no one ever does anything about it. And that you're going to be like, oh, this major hack, again, North Korea might sue you. Like, even if it wasn't North Korea, if it's a major hack and you're freezing funds, again, I like using networks that can't be frozen. We've already gone over this.
Totally.
But the fact that you can be, and you're choosing not to, and you're saying, well, legal liability. It's like, well, what about the legal liability of negligence here? Like, You can have that. But anyway, nice, happy way to wrap. Might as well wrap up the thing on Tay Zinger.
Perfect.
Shill o'clock. I'm just going to throw up your Brave the New World thing, and if you have anything else to add in, just let me know.
I would just say to the people, just follow me on Twitter at Matthew Carano, just my full name. I'm doing a lot of stuff about world and current events, but very soon I will also be talking a lot about AI. I mean, I think I've just, I'm really on there are a lot of OpenClaw users right now, but I'm really on the front end of that, and I've learned so much by doing it. I've been like 10 hours a day for the last 2 months working on stuff. So I'm going to start really talking about, because there's a lot of best practices. There's a lot of things with AI. You're basically, the main thing is you're fighting its memory. You're fighting a session has only so many tokens length, and you're fighting that. And so to do any like big long-term projects,
in my local experiments, that's been the biggest thing, is the context window.
So I've been working on a solution for that that I'm hoping to get out here pretty soon, because I've had to account for it for my own self. So I'm going to start, I'll have a product here pretty soon to make AI more useful for people. So, but best thing is just to follow me on Twitter at Matthew Carano, and you'll see me start talking about that. But I'll probably create a community around that too, because just learning so much about how to counteract that one main issue, there's a lot of things you can do around it and sort of best practices, especially if you're like developing an app that's going to take you several months to do. You can, as a solo founder, make something really worthwhile, but there's really best practices that you have to put in place, or you're not going to be able to. It's gonna thwart you. So anyway, yeah, just follow me on Twitter, I guess, is the main thing.
Yeah, it works out. The network formerly known as Twitter, Matthew Carano. It's good that you have your full name on there. I have my full name on there, The Desert Links. That's my legal name, as it turns out. But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Don't get hacked. Don't use some crap. Hold your own keys, but in a safe way. Don't tell your passwords to Claude. It will remember them, and not in a good way. Yeah. Just don't be a dum-dum. There's too many of them out there. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Adam, we're here because we love you. And we're all tired of watching you get abused.
Abused? By who?
Oh, hi, I'm Visa. I charge you 29% interest, 3% foreign fees, and make you wait 3 days to see if your payment went through.
But I thought you were my friend.
No, Dash is your friend. Instant, private, under a penny, and with Dash Spend, you walk into over 100,000 stores and pay like a boss.
All ready? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. Feel alive, guys. This is awesome. Tastes like freedom. And I save 5% by using the app.
That's the Dash High, baby.
Let's go.
Download the mobile wallet, one tap, boom, financial sovereignty.